Is the iPhone 14 boring? Has Apple stopped innovating?
Can't innovate anymore, my
Or is the iPhone 14 going to destroy the competition and usher in the era of a whole new Apple? Let me sort of break down why Apple is going to win in 2022 and why the competition, Microsoft, Samsung, Google, OnePlus, all those guys should be very, very worried. And a huge thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring this video. These days, it seems like there's really just two different opinions on Apple. People either love them or they hate them. On one hand, some think that Apple has turned a corner. They're giving some attention to some neglected products. There's new Apple Silicon, new Macs, new iPads, new iPhones. Apple is doing a lot of good. While others are a bit more skeptical and critical and think the competition has surpassed Apple. Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Huawei, and other manufacturers are providing more innovation and more value in their products, much more than Apple has done in the last several years. But now, as we enter into a new year for 2022, if you believe the leaks and rumors, the analysts, a lot of different sources are coming together to proclaim that this is going to be one of Apple's biggest years ever. We're gonna see tons of new products, lots of new software improvements. It seems like the last few years have been sort of setting the stage for what is going to be a massive year in 2022, and this is the year that Apple shows everyone that, hey, they not only are here to innovate, but they are here to seriously destroy the competition. And to kick things off, one of Apple's biggest stories for 2022 will undoubtedly be this, the all-new and improved iPhone 14. This is, by all accounts, set to be one of the biggest iPhone upgrades ever, certainly since the iPhone 10 back in 2017, and it is basically all new on the inside out. And if the leaks are true, one of the biggest changes here with the iPhone 14 is with the notch. Apple is not only going to shrink the notch, but they're almost going to entirely remove the notch on the iPhone 14. Now, rumors have sort of gone back and forth on this. First, it was going to be just a circular hole punch in the middle of the top of the display. Then it was going to be a pill-shaped cutout. Now it seems like it's going to be a combination of the two because we know Apple loves to do things their own Apple way and have their own unique mark on their products. But even with that being said, this is still going to be a substantial improvement over the notch that has been on the iPhone, again, for the last several years, and also still give you the full safety, security, and the power of Face ID, knowing that you can unlock your phone super easily, but also get a little bit more screen real estate back on the top of your iPhone. Of course, the other big change here is with the design. Apple's sort of going back a little bit to a throwback of the iPhone 4 and giving us this two-tone industrial design. Gone is the camera bump on the back. You now just have sort of this awesome combination of glass and maybe titanium here for the material on the outside. And just by all accounts, this looks like it's going to be a great looking phone. And I cannot wait to see this thing in person and finally hold it in my hands. And also another big change here with the iPhone 14 is with the camera. This is supposed to be one of the most significant camera upgrades the iPhone has seen in many, many years, taking that main camera from 12 megapixels that we've had for a number of years, all the way up to a 48 megapixel main camera. This is set to deliver better photos, better videos. We could also maybe see 8K video recording here on the iPhone 14 as well. That was at least a rumor. Who knows if that's actually going to become true. And also inside is Apple's latest and greatest silicon, the A16 Bionic with the iPhone 14. This should be able to basically do it all. It's going to be more powerful, more efficient. Apple's chips have been pretty amazing, especially in the iPhone, so expect no slowdown here. Things are going to get even crazier, even faster, and even better on this year's iPhone 14 lineup. And that sort of nicely segues me into the second reason I think Apple is going to win in 2022, and that is because of their own custom silicon. I think it's safe to say when we first sort of heard the rumblings that Apple was going to scale up their chips from the iPhone and iPad and put them into their Macs, everyone was a little skeptical and a little hesitant to be excited. But it's also now completely safe to say that not only has Apple sort of blown us away with their own custom silicon with the M series processors, but they are setting the bar, setting a new standard, and really showing the entire PC industry what they can do, and really shaking up the entire processor market. You've got the M1, the M1 Pro, the M1 Max. These are all super capable, versatile chips that are also super efficient as well and sort of meet all the different stages of the computer market. If you want a thin and light computer with great battery life that also packs a bit of a punch, the MacBook Air with the M1 is the way to go, though the M2 one is coming soon. And also, if you want a little bit more power, you go with a MacBook Pro with an M1 Pro or M1 Max, and you are going to be blown away. Apple has shown that they are not only taking this seriously, but they're here to compete head-to-head with Intel and others who are making processors to show that they're really in this to win it, and that their own custom silicon is super powerful, super efficient, and here to really change the game. And I think that it's safe to say the game has definitely been changed thanks to Apple. And speaking of the Mac, another one of Apple's biggest reasons for success in 2022 and hopefully beyond has to do with me and you. Not just because we're handing over our hard-earned money to buy these Apple products, but because we're giving feedback that Apple is finally starting to listen to. This has been one of the biggest criticisms of Apple for years. They were the ones that told you what you wanted before you even knew you wanted it, which did work a lot of the time, but more and more recently, people were just fed up with some of Apple's shortcomings. The trash can Mac Pro wasn't all it was cracked up to be. The butterfly keyboard was famously unreliable. The switch over to just USB-C was nice, but sort of led to this dongle hell, and there were plenty of other changes and decisions that Apple made that sort of put a lot more emphasis on form over function, so much so that it was almost becoming to their detriment. And I'm not exactly sure what changed inside of Apple's HQ, whether it was some leadership shakeups, it was the departure of a man named Johnny Ive, or some other change, but whatever the case may be, slowly but surely, more and more, Apple is beginning to listen to their customers. They're bringing back ports, they're fixing their issues. Doesn't always happen. I'd still love to see USB-C or Thunderbolt on the iPhone, but at least it's getting better, much, much better than it was just a few years ago. All right, now before we get into more reasons why Apple could win this year in 2022, I want to take a quick break and tell you all a little bit about this video's sponsor, Stamps.com. Now, whether you are working from home, trying to start up a side hustle, or managing a small business, we all know the feeling of needing to ship a package, but not wanting to deal with the hassle of going to the post office. You've got to get in your car, drive over, stand in line. We all sort of know how it goes. But now it is time to put those days long behind you, because Stamps.com is here to change everything. Stamps.com brings the services of the US Postal Service and UPS right to your computer, allowing you to print official postage for any package, any letter, any place you want to send it. They have been an indispensable tool for over 1 million businesses, including ours here. We are just a little busy shooting and editing videos like this one, so we don't usually have time to go to the post office, which is why it's so convenient that we can just jump onto Stamps.com, print official postage in just a couple of simple clicks, and also have access to discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS. So save time and money this year with Stamps.com. Sign up at Stamps.com/theAppleCircle for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale, and no long-term contracts or commitments as well. Again, that is Stamps.com/theAppleCircle. I also want to give credit here to Apple for trying new things and not only sort of listening to their customers, but trying things when they work and getting rid of things when they don't work. Classic example of this is with the mini iPhone. So many people have long been clamoring for most of the specs and features of a flagship sort of quote unquote full-sized iPhone in a smaller form factor, and we got that for 2 years with the 12 mini and the 13 mini. Instead this year, rumor has it, Apple is going to give us an iPhone 14 Max. This is a 6.7-inch iPhone, so the big screen iPhone, but it lacks the Pro features and the Pro price tag of the 14 Pro Max. So probably no ProMotion, no triple camera setup, no sort of Pro features in terms of the camera and stuff like that. But what you're getting is a much more affordable large screen iPhone, which I think honestly is really perfect for a lot of people out there. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. I know a lot of people in my immediate circle of friends and family would absolutely love this phone. And again, I think this is more of Apple sort of listening to their customers. They tried the mini, to their credit, but now for all those who are clamoring for a large screen iPhone but don't want to pay the price of a Pro Max, this looks like the perfect solution for them. Something else I also find so fascinating about Apple right now in 2022, and something that they have been given a lot of credit for, is building out their different product categories and their different lineup. And this is a little controversial. On one hand, if you walk into an Apple store now, you are presented with so many more options than you were just 10 or 15 years ago. There are now multiple different iPhone models, iPad models. Obviously, some of these products are new, but you sort of get the idea. There's many more configurations, models, and colors than Apple had before. And famously, when Steve Jobs returned to Apple, one of his big missions was sort of consolidating the Apple product lineup and getting rid of a lot of the quote-unquote fluff. These days, Apple certainly has more products than before, more options, more sizes, more colors. But in a way, I think that might be a good thing for them. You have iPad models available in different prices and different form factors. There's an iPad mini, there's an iPad Pro. If you just want a cheap tablet, the base iPad is perfect for that. Same for the iPhone. The iPhone SE isn't shattering any records and doesn't have a stunning design, but for the price, it's a really great bargain for the dollar. And that also extends to the Mac. There's the Mac mini, there's other Apple products. Apple has a whole lot of products these days, definitely more than would fit on one table, but I think that they've done a really good job at sort of catering to different markets, different segments, different budgets and price points. And of course, one of the final reasons I think Apple is going to win in 2022 is that they are finally set to start expanding their product lineup and enter into some new product categories that they haven't been in before, specifically with this new mixed reality AR/VR headset. According to everything we know, all the leaks, all the rumors, all the analyst reports, the last few years have been setting the stage for this. This is a new device that's totally new. It's packed with sensors and cameras and processors and an app store. We don't exactly know what it's gonna do, how much it's gonna cost, or exactly how it works, but by all accounts, this new headset is set to shake up the industry like the iPhone changed phones, the iPad changed tablets, the Apple Watch changed smartwatches. You sort of get the idea. This is sort of the next big thing from Apple that is hopefully coming sometime this year in 2022. Can't wait to see Apple sort of experiment with new form factors, try new things, and by all accounts, if this thing is a hit, it's going to set the stage for a really different and really exciting next decade for Apple, over the next, 10 years. And of course, let me be clear that this is not all to say that Apple is perfect. They certainly are not without their issues. They don't always hit the mark, but they do a really good job, I think a better job than before, sort of catering to different audiences, different price points, providing a lot of value in their products. And I think that this is the year we see a lot of Apple innovation, a lot of Apple magic come to almost every product in the lineup. New Apple Silicon, new redesigned Macs, big changes to the iPhone 14, Apple Watch. Now I want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts? What are you most excited to see from Apple in 2022? What do you think Apple has to do to be successful? What do they need to do to compete? What are the areas that they've fallen short in that they can fix this year? And sort of what are your general thoughts on Apple in 2022? What are you most excited to see? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I will see you all in the next one.